My name is Alan Joyce. I'm an engraver and an artist. I work, the engraving side of what I do is a purely commercial thing. I work for jewellers all over the country and for people who come into my premises as well. 40 years next year. 1976 was when I did my first job, and I got into it in the most straightforward way possible. There was an advert in the Liverpool Echo. My young wife at the time, told me about it. I applied, got the job, and say next year, 40 years later, still doing it. After successfully getting the job, I was placed, this was just before Christmas, October, in a small unit on the ground floor of a flagship store in Liverpool. The store display people put some 3D silver letters behind my head saying Expert Engraving. The company that I worked for sent out a training officer who stayed with me for a week and a half and then got called off elsewhere. So I was left just before Christmas on the ground floor of a major department store in Liverpool with the words Expert Engraver behind my head. Most of it is pretty straightforward. Anything you could imagine buying for your boyfriend or your mum or your dad, bracelets, watches, rings, bangles, that kind of thing. The strangest, that's an easy list to do. Bread bin, mop bucket, tin of mushy peas, tin of tomato soup, and occasionally things that I don't even know what they are and I have to ask. One thing that does come to mind is a steel rod, beautifully machined steel rod with a kind of a disc on the end with a line over the edge, and it was being inscribed down the side, and when I asked, it was actually one rod of thousands from a paracetamol making machine. All the painting. Through the influence of my granddad, I painted when I was a child and then got better and better through my teenage years. The engraving I only started when I moved to Liverpool and had a young family to feed and look after, and that would be when I was about 23 I started engraving. The ones that I have at the moment, probably a painting of a Murano glass shop window at night in Venice, just off St Mark's Square. And it's a very complicated painting. Probably there'll only ever be one like it. And that one I was thinking about for 10 years before I finally got round to actually executing the painting.